Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to go over what I felt like is probably the easiest way to get started in your DIY solar experience. So one of the things that we did, we bought one of these grid tie inverters. So this one happens to be a 1,000-watt grid tie inverter. They're just cheap grid tie inverters that have what they call island protection. So when it's plugged in, you have to have power in to get power out. So if for some reason the grid were ever to go down or a transformer blew down the line and you still had this thing hooked up, that it would not put out any power with your solar panels hooked up. One thing I really like about this is the cost of entry is really cheap. You can get these grid tie inverters on Amazon. As you can see, I have one pulled up here. You can get it fairly cheap. Currently they are $120 on Amazon. This one happens to be for 24-volt solar panels, which would be something like this Rich Solar. Currently these are $250 on Amazon, or you can get them in this 12-volt solar panel edition, which I really like. These JJN bifacial solar panels, currently they're on sale for $161.50, and these actually work really well. I have them hooked up to a small charge inverter right now that we use to run fans outside by the pool, but these work really good. So I did a small test on these to see if these put out any more power than my regular 200-watt solar panel, and they put out about 10 more watts than what the one that I typically use does. The reason I didn't go with these was just the shape of them at the time. I probably should have gone with these because they're usually the cheapest solar panel you can get that's a 200-watt solar panel, and it happened to be a bifacial solar panel. So so it's been a really good panel. But like I said, you can use that with this 12-volt grid tie system that has that island connection. Some of the things that I really like that we did with this is this can be really modular design. You can literally start with just one solar panel and this grid tie inverter, and you're currently, with what the prices are, you're getting started for less than $300. I really liked that aspect of it. So we had bought a solar panel and bought this, and then got into it, and then as you grow, you obviously put more back into your house or back into your system with the more solar panels that you get. This one, it's only a 1,000 watt, so you can hook up to 5 200-watt solar panels, which currently we do have hooked up. The most I've ever seen on a good sunny day is about 700 watts coming into it. But that's 700 watts that we don't have to pay, the electricity company for. It's worked really well for us. I haven't done the calculations on what it would cost to get your money back on this. However, for me, it didn't really matter because it was an opportunity to grow our solar panel collection, which we have, and as well as putting it to use at the same time. And so we have 5 of those Rich solar panels up on the roof, and then we have it hooked up into actually a second one. This one still works. It's about 5 years old, and the fans started going out on it. So I went ahead and bought another one just so that I could get one that was working with the fans, because it does get pretty hot here in Texas. So I wanted it to not overheat and not have any issues with that. The whole case is like an aluminum type case, which is good. It's like one big huge heat sink. However, I just didn't want it to get too hot in the location that we have it. So I wound up buying another one because currently that's what we have those 5 panels allocated for. But it still works. You can see it's pretty dirty just from where we keep it. I do want to eventually replace these fans and not necessarily have this as our primary system, because we do have something else in the works, but just as an addition to what we've already running. I would probably go with the 12-volt system model if I were to do it all again, with all 12-volt solar panels as opposed to 24-volt solar panels. I do want to get into that in a later video, just to see the pros and cons of getting a higher voltage versus a lower voltage solar panel. But for us, this thing has been working great. We really like the additional energy that it puts into our house that we don't have to pay for. It's been very reliable for us. Like I said, the fans did pretty much go out on it, but it's been about 5 years of us utilizing this thing and replacing it. So we do have an Emporia View connected to our system. This is one of those smart plugs that Emporia used to have. I have not been able to find them for a while, actually, and I really do like them. They were really good, but you can see this is what the input has been from the plug on a daily basis. So you can see with the grid tie inverter, our usage, not really our usage, but our input goes up throughout the day and slowly tapers down, just like anything that you would use for solar. I used to have a couple of more solar panels hooked into this, into a different one. I think it was this one here, but you can see that it's just like a normal. Sun comes up, your input goes in, and as the sun goes down, your input goes down. Like this one right here, that was a really good day for our solar, for our grid tie inverter. That's one of the cool things about plugging it into your regular plug outlet, is that you can use something like this, or I used to actually use just a regular smart plug that had the ability to show how many watts it was. But since Emporia had these plugs, I bought one of these and have been using it for the grid tie inverter, just to see. So this is the hourly. Let me show you like the daily here. You can see that it has been putting out a little bit less. We've actually had some more clouds, but during the midsummer, this was like August. You can see at the top right hand corner, right up here, that's 3.6 kilowatt hours per day, so 3,600 watts per day on that day. I'm not sure what the most is, probably this one, so that's 4.4, almost 4,500 watts, watt hours per day. So you can see it does definitely make a difference in the consumption. Some of these days, it wasn't necessarily, these low days wasn't necessarily because we had poor coverage. It could have been, but some of the days, like the Wi-Fi thing gets disconnected, and so you can see like a couple of these days here it got disconnected. But so this is what we use. So for the month, or for the month, you can see that we were using it less and less and less. And in August, July, and June, which are these right here at the edge, you can see these right here. These are for the summer months. Once I decided to revamp it, just because weren't really getting a lot in the winter months. On a yearly basis, what I do like about this Emporia View, and you can see that it shows the yearly 439 kilowatt hours for the year for 2023, and then for 2022. So I just bought this plug in 2022, but it was still 376 kilowatt hours for the year. So really, this is a more accurate for 2023, and it's not even over yet. The year's not even over yet. One nice thing I do like about this Emporia View is you can actually change your units of measurement here. So let's go to what our currency is, and you can see over here for the year, $44 a year already just for that in savings, which isn't a lot, but we also updated solar panels this year too. So we actually bought some more solar panels this year to get that going. So it's a slow process, but it does pay you back. And like I said, we had this the original one for over 5 years. So since August, it's probably close to September now. So $45 for, we'll say, half a year's worth. About $90 a year. And so it literally will pay for itself in a year. And like I said, we got 5 years out of that first one. So it's just one thing, to think about as you're thinking about what you want to start off with your solar system. I know there's been a couple of big channels that have utilized these. I think the Jehu Garcia channel, he's got several of them hooked into his warehouse, and he had nothing but good things to say about it. I wouldn't necessarily have them hooked up in series like he does. I would just use one set of the solar panels that we have for this, but eventually those solar panels will be allocated for something else, and then we can use these for other things. One of the things that you have to keep in mind when using these is, because it's a up to 45 volt DC, is you have to run everything in parallel. Those 45 volt solar panels have to run in parallel, and so getting 5 solar panels in parallel was a challenge as far as the cabling is concerned, but we wound up actually making extensions. That's how I learned how to make MC4 connectors, so I was able to make some extensions to be able to make that work. But yeah, it was a pain to get all of them situated at one time, but otherwise we really have no complaints about utilizing this for the first few years of when we bought our solar panels. We have upgraded to a few more things, but we still have this hooked up with our original the Rich solar panels. So I think it's a great option for your DIY guys just to get started. You can grow your solar panel collection until you can get like a really good, nice inverter system, and then utilize it for your whole house. This does actually go for your whole house. It just brings down the energy that's used with what you're using from the grid. So I would say it's a thumbs up for me. If you guys want to take a look at it, I'll leave some links in the description below. They are affiliate links, but that way you can take a look at them and see what you guys think. But I really thought it was a really good idea for our family. So I hope you enjoy the video, and please like and subscribe. Thanks. You guys be safe.